Okay. Alrighty, boys and girls. It's Monday Night Live. We're going to do some chit-chatting tonight. Claw, what's up? Hey, Steph. Hi, guys. Hey, JC, Nathan, man. Nice to see you guys. Hey, Maddie. What's up? It's good to see you guys checking in. Let's see. All right, JC, you be sneaky with your phone, but I appreciate you checking in. Noah, good evening. It's Monday Night Live time, right? Well, I hope that some of you guys, if you didn't know or didn't know, hey, Huck Jenkins, who Tayla Jones is, I hope you Googled her. She is one fantastic rider, I'll tell you that much. I'll give you some background on her in a little bit once more people. Cycle Center at Denton's with us tonight. Reagan's with us. Once we get some more people joined in. In the meantime, I threw a challenge out last week about posting a picture from your first race or your first ride, whatever. And then I posted another challenge to go along with it that said if you liked that post, you were supposed to post a picture of your first ride or your first race and tag me in it. A couple of people have done it, but, you know, the teacher in me is disappointed in your lack of turning in your assignment. So, you peoples, I want first race pics as close as possible. Youngest, the youngest picture you have of you riding, whatever. I forgot. Stephanie Renee. Goodness. Oh, hey, and while you're at it, one of Ricky Bobby. That would be good. Definitely Hunter and Lena as well. Because, hey, Dana, nice of you to join us tonight. Did I get that right? Don't have my glasses on, so. Next week's topic, I'm already going to tell you. I try. Hey, Allie. Next week's topic, I am going to encourage and invite people to share their first race experiences with me. So it'll be like a couple of minutes here, somebody joins, then we'll let them share their experience, then I'll kick them out and somebody else can and stuff like that. But next week's topic is sharing your first race story. That's why I want those pictures. So send them in. Anyway, our guest tonight is Tayla Jones. If you guys don't know, she's from Australia. And, man, she can ride. I'll tell you what, she's freaking awesome. We'll get into that. We'll talk about that. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some background on her. And latecomers can catch it later. I'm sure some people already know it too. But girls who ride, nice of you to join us. Hope you are feeling so much better. You and the Mr. PJ. Our guest tonight has 6 World ISDE titles. 2 overall ISDE victories, 2015 and 2018. 3 GNCC Women XC Championships, back to back to back, 2017 to 2019. 3 full gas spring enduro championships, again, back to back to back, 2017 through 2019. It's probably on your side, Claw, but you never know. Hey, Lance, nice to see you, man. I don't know. I didn't have any internet last Friday because a construction crew was kind enough to cut a main fiber optic line. So, yeah, there's no telling what's going on. Anyway, one other thing, and these are just major things. This does not include what she's won back in Australia. She's also won 2 NPEG National Enduro Championships, 2017 through 2018. And I'm making a note of something else I want to ask Tayla, which I forgot to put on my list. So, and just so you know, I send a list of stuff that I want to talk about to people when I interview them to give them an idea before I start just throwing stuff at them cold turkey. So they kind of get a chance to formulate their answers and whatnot. But anyway, I haven't seen Tayla on yet. So Allie, tell Tayla to log on, and then tell her to go ahead as soon as she logs on to hit that request to join. And it'll be the easiest, and we're ready to go. It's 7:38. We've got several people checked in. And Claw, you also know if the buffering gets really bad, there's Tayla right there, that I am getting these uploaded to YouTube. So if something doesn't work here, you'll be able to see it tonight or tomorrow. So you're writing up slips for people that haven't sent you. Wait, what did you say? Hey, Tayla, I'm trying to read what Nathan wrote here. So I have no idea what Nathan wrote. Tayla.
Hey,
not bad. You know, this weather is killing me because it's perfect riding weather. And I know some people are going riding. I wonder who that would be.
I don't know. It's pretty nice out today. I was pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, definitely. This is the best time of year to ride for us. So anyway, I know we've got some of your friends checking in and whatnot. I've already kind of given everybody the background of just your most recent championships that you sent to me. But I'm going to kind of stick to the questions I sent you.
All right.
I'm only going to deviate a little. So, hey, Kirsten, good to see you. All right. So this is the first question I always start with everybody. How old were you when you learned to ride? Who taught you?
I learned to ride when I was 3 years old. I can't remember it too much, but like my parents had told me the story. I got a Pee-wee because my brother did. So we both learned around the same time. And I was 3, and my dad actually taught us. It was just like at the back of our house in this random paddock that no one used, and we just went out there pretty much every day of the week and rode around. It wasn't, yeah. I can't remember too much from that time. I was pretty young, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So who's older? You or your brother?
My brother's older. He's 15 months older than me.
Okay. Is there some competitiveness between the two of you?
There definitely was when we were kids, but he actually quit riding when he was like 12 years old. He got hurt all the time.
Oh.
I think he broke his leg 3 times in 2 years, so that kind of ended his racing career. But I was also like at the point of being faster than him, so he hated that too. So it kind of helped his decision to leave.
Can't have baby sister showing him up, right?
Yeah, he was not happy when that started happening.
Oh my gosh, that's great. All right, so started riding when you were about 3 years old. Hey, what was Dad riding? Do you remember?
At that point, I'm not sure. I remember the first bike that I can remember him getting was the first ever YZ250F.
Okay.
So it's like the first time they brought out the 4-stroke, and that was the first bike I can remember him having. He had like the full setup with like Yamaha gear and boots and helmet. It's like fully like factory looking, but he was never like he actually raced cars when like he was younger. He grew up racing cars and did all of that. And then he only got a bike when we started racing. So it was kind of cool. We all did it together. My brother, me, and my dad. My mom couldn't ride at all, so she wasn't really included.
Well, my mom rode, but she rode while the rest of us raced, and she was slow, like slower than a turtle, slow. But she rode. So, hey, all right, so your first race, how old were you, give or take?
I was also 3. I started racing the same year. Yeah.
Oh, jeez, wow. You know how old I was? I was 17.
I had a few years on you by then.
Yeah, you did. All right, so were you on the PWs, obviously, then?
Yeah, I was on a PW. I actually, we started off doing flat track, just doing circles all day on my Pee-wee. Yeah, there's a bunch of us little kids at the same time racing around. And it was easy for my parents to chase me, and when I fell over, pick me back up. I never got to training wheels, so it was straight into it, just send it.
One of my favorite memories from going to Loretta Lynn's was the Pee Wee class, because, you know, that's the only class that they would let the parents be out on the track.
Yeah.
And it'd be like this herd, you know, how a couple of members of the herd start to break off and then the rest follow.
Mm-hmm.
And they were following the bobbleheads around the track and stuff.
It's
So
funny to watch.
yeah, I think the parents were more entertaining to watch than the kids. But so how'd you do on that first race?
I really have no idea. I have no recollection of like any of my races when I was
Yeah.
a kid. Like I've heard stories. I wasn't very fast, obviously. I was just potting around. But yeah, I don't even know. I'm sure I got the little like encouragement award that said good job, and I went home stoked about it, but that's about it.
Hey, there you go. That's the way it starts.
Yeah.
All right. So then I didn't send this, but I figure you're okay answering it. So you went from PW to an 85, or what was the progression of bikes? Did you go to a 65 and then, you know?
I pretty much had every bike possible. So I went from a PW to a KTM 50, and I had a whole bunch of them. I think I raced 50s until I was like 9. I was a pretty short kid, so I stayed back a lot.
You still are.
Yeah, so I could probably still ride a 50 if I wanted to.
There you go.
Yeah, so I had a 50, then I had a 65s. I had those till I was like 13 or 14. And then 85s and 125s at the same time. I raced them. And then, yeah, pretty much. I stayed on the 125 until I was like 16. And then as soon as I went to we stopped racing juniors and go to seniors at 16 in Australia. So as soon as I went to the seniors, I got a 250 and went from there.
By that point, was it motocross that you were racing? Because obviously you got off the circle track at some point.
Yeah. So I did flat track for a while. I continued doing that up until I was 16. Like I did that like occasionally. I did a bit of everything, but I started racing motocross when I was 4. And then we did that all the way to 16. I never did any off-road until I turned senior.
Okay. All right. So did you miss leaving motocross and going to off-road, or were you still motocrossing at the same time?
I still did motocross at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, so back in Australia, we only had like 6 rounds of off-road, like 6 weekends of off-road, sorry, and then like the 4-day, and I did some desert races also, but in between, I did the Australian like women's motocross championship as well. It's pretty spread out for us, so we could do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, when did you come to the States?
I officially moved here in 2017, but I had raced a few other races. Like in 2014, I come and did a couple races, and 2015, I come back and did a couple more. So every year from 2014 onwards, I've been here just for a couple.
Now you're 24, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was your first big sponsorship then? Your first major sponsor?
My first like major one would have been I signed with the factory Yamaha team back in Australia in 2015. Okay.
All right. And were you still doing off-road as well as motocross, or had you gone mainstream off-road? What's the progression there for us?
At that point I was mainly off-road at that time. I did the Australian Women's Motocross Championship that year, but it was only a 1-round thing because they were having some troubles trying to get support. So I did that one race, but I raced fully off-road for the factory Yamaha team. It was off-road and desert racing, so whole bunch.
Okay. All right. So we know you've raced in Australia and the U.S. Where else have you raced?
Pretty much the 6 days. I've done 8 of them, and they've been all over the world. So like Germany, Italy, Slovakia, Spain, Chile.
Nice.
I don't know. There are a bunch of places, but it's only been like a couple weeks for the 6 day, and then I leave. It hasn't been like full-time racing.
All right. So since we kind of just touched on sponsors, who are your current sponsors?
I ride for the Land Mills Husqvarna team, but with factory Rockstar Husqvarna support.
Okay.
So they're my main ones right now.
Yeah. Who else? Are there some minor ones that are also supporting you right now?
I have a whole bunch, but Moose
Well,
Racing.
anybody you want to mention?
Yeah, Moose Racing is probably my biggest one. They've been supporting me since I moved here back in 2017, and they've been awesome. I couldn't choose a better brand to be with, really.
Cool.
Then like a bunch of smaller ones like Oakley and Alpine Star, Dunlop, Motorex. And I got Ali supporting me. She's my coach. She
Yeah.
supports me a fair bit. She buys me food.
Allie's mean. I don't like Allie.
Yeah, I understand.
Hey, Allie Boo, love you.
Love you.
All right, so do you want to talk about any differences between riding for Team Yamaha and Team Husqvarna? You can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Just, it's when I first started racing, there were only a couple of women who had bike support. And at that, it wasn't full bike support, so, and a lot things have changed so much because that was back in 82, 83. So a lot of that has changed. But do you want to talk about the differences between the Yamaha ride and the Husky ride?
Yeah, the Yamaha ride was back in Australia, and our industry down there is completely different to here. I don't know. The support isn't as big. Like it was a factory ride down there, but if you considered it over here, it's not factory.
Yeah.
I know over here I'm not fully factory either. I'm still a support rider, so I still I buy my bikes for a certain like a cost price, and then sell them at the end to buy the new bikes.
Right.
But yeah, like I get the parts and stuff like that, and the support from the mechanics and that kind of thing over here. Back at home, it's like I did get bikes given to me, but the whole industry is so much different. It's kind of really hard to compare it.
Right.
Yeah.
So back home, was Dad your mechanic?
He was until I went to the Yamaha ride.
Yeah.
I had a mechanic out there, but yeah, he still followed me around. He was my mechanic for like 20 years. So.
Well, I read something. I did creeper stalk your Instagram. I might have even checked out your Facebook just a little bit. So one of the things I read was something that's been difficult for you to adjust to is the fact that Dad isn't at every single race now. And I know that's hard on you. It's got to be hard on him. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I know I grew up going to races every single weekend with him. We were always there, driving the van, going everywhere, and I don't know, having his support at the track, it makes a big difference. I really enjoyed having him there, and he could calm me down, and it made it a lot more fun. I felt like now it is a job. I show up and I got to race, but it's still fun. It was cool to do it with my family, with my dad. But I think it's been hard on him too, because now he's got all these weekends. He's got nothing to do, just sit at home.
Right.
So he just works twice as much now. He actually made a vegetable garden the year he stopped being my mechanic. So
Aww. And the other thing too with off-road, unless it's a huge deal like a Barstow to Vegas run or something like that, it's not really televised.
Yeah. Anything.
Yeah. That's got to be hard, because my dad is the one who taught me to ride, and he was an enduro rider. And so when I quit riding with him because he was too slow, it kind of broke his heart for a little bit. And I was like, Daddy, I love you. He had an XR200, and I took it for a lap, for fun. And he was all, it's a great bike. And I was like, well, it's fun to play on, but I don't think I want to race, want to race it.
It's not a race bike.
Yeah. But, but at least now with stuff like Instagram Live and there's Zoom and Skype and FaceTime and House Party, and I don't even know what all else, you do get to see your parents at least a lot, right? You can talk to them via... I
talk to him at least 2 or 3 times a week, so it's not like I I don't get to talk to him at all. But it's different, yeah, not having him at the race. But I'm glad I still get to talk to him, and he pretty much stays up every time I'm racing and watching
Yeah.
the results. Like he doesn't get any sleep on the weekends now, anyway.
Hey, at least with live laps now and stuff, people can at least keep up with it that way, and get virtual updates instead of waiting for a week for the results to be tallied and figured out. So at least that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like 1 a.m. over there when he gets to watch it. So.
Yeah. All right. So let's kind of fast forward a little bit. You're 24 now. You've been seriously racing. I mean, I'm going to say big dog racing since you're what, 16, 17?
Yeah, I turned pro at 16.
Okay. So what is an accomplishment thus far in your career that you are most proud of?
That's a really tough question. Like I've done a lot of races like over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many on the list, but I'm probably the ISD, our first ever Women's World Cup title. It was in Italy in 2013, and I don't know, it's just a great feeling. Just standing up there with Team Australia was probably like the greatest part of that. Like to get to represent your country is one thing, but to be able to stand on the middle of the podium with your country is pretty awesome for sure.
Well, yeah, and to be able to represent your country on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
That's like the icing on the cake right there.
For sure.
So, all right, this can be a touchy question. Any major disappointments? I know you've ridden through some serious injuries and finished anyway. So what was the one that got away from you that you wanted but you didn't get, or something like that?
Probably the worst one was I'm pretty sure it was Spain ISD, but me and Laia Sands, she's like, geez, sorry, that was.
Did Zoe do that? Did Zoe do
Ellie
it?
just ran into the table. But yeah, the ISD in Spain, me and Laia Sands were going at it, and I think we're on day 4, and we're about 30 seconds apart, and I crashed in one of the tests and bent my hand guard around the brake lever.
That would suck.
Yeah, I couldn't go anywhere.
I bet
it was
not.
pretty terrible. So I ended up finishing. I lost like 3 minutes in the one test, and it ruined the 6th day. I ended up second, but just to be racing against Lyra and being that close to her, it was it was an awesome feeling. I just wish we could have went to the end with it and seen how it actually turned out.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of those what ifs.
Yeah, it's racing, but it was definitely tough to take as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've had a couple. At least I don't throw my helmet about it anymore. But that was a long time ago. But I've had a couple of, just 30 more seconds. Give me another minute, one more lap, and would have been the best race of my life, and kind of fell short. But
coulda, woulda, coulda, but happened.
All right, so we already touched on this, representing Australia in the ISDE. So let's talk about which ISDE was the most challenging?
That would have to be my first ever one. I was 16. I'd only just started off road. I had never done an actual enduro with a time card or anything like that.
Oh wow!
And I got the call up because Gemma Wilson, one of our riders, broke both of her legs like a month before they had to go, and they're just like, okay, well, we don't really have anyone, so Tayla, it's like,
come on down.
No idea. My dad actually said the only reason I went because we weren't going to do it. And my dad's like, well, you'll probably never get chosen again, so you might as well go.
And look at you, 7 ISDEs later.
So
did they say, and remember, trees are bad, don't hit them?
Yeah, but like I think I got to the bottom of this one hill, and there was like a bunch of girls down there, and I see my teammate coming back down, Jess, and then she's at the bottom crying. I was like, what the hell is going on? I looked at the hill, and there was like 50 people stuck, and I was like, there's no, like, what am I even doing here? There's no way
Yeah.
to get out this thing, but I know. I finally made it. It was the most hardest thing I'd ever done. And I was like, I'm not doing enduro ever again. This is it. Done.
You need, if you haven't done it, you ought to do a search on YouTube for when Travis Pastrana and his buddies went to the Erzberg Enduro
I've
and
actually
rode it.
watched that. It's
Have you
pretty,
watched it?
yeah.
Man, that was something else. So, and that pretty much whipped his butt because, you know, he was, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to top 5. And yeah, he didn't make top 5. So,
Yeah. I don't think he made it to checkpoint 15.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about track and dirt conditions. What are your favorite types of tracks or dirt that you liked riding? Because I've got a friend of mine in East Texas. Man, the rockier and the more roots, the happier she is. So where are you like, yeah, this is mine, I got this?
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite. If I have any choice, it's going to be a sand track any day of the week. Like, perfectly, like, sandy, wet, ready to, like, just hold it wide. That's my happy place.
Has Allie taken you to Bonita yet? Have you ridden out in Bonita?
I was there today.
You got you some sand, didn't you?
Yeah, I love that place. It is so sick. We go there a little bit, but yeah, it's probably it's in the top 5 of tracks I've ever been to in the world.
Wow. Yeah, the first time we rode Bonita, I think I got to mile marker 10, and I thought there's more because it was a 13-mile loop. And by the time I got to 13, I swear I had done the same section 3 times because it all just looked the same with all the sand and the whoops and stuff. It's gnarly.
I'm pretty sure it's up to like 16 miles now. It takes like 32 minutes to do a lap. It's fully sick.
I watched her almost die today.
Almost die. You were gonna let her die?
It was really bad. It was a pretty bad crash. She like rode up the wall and then flipped over.
And Taylor's like, Allie, this is
went
not a good
headfirst into
story
a wall.
to share.
It was pretty scary from my point of view.
Wow.
I survived though. I'm fine.
Apparently. All right. So then you don't like rocks and roots?
No, that would be on the list of things I hate.
All right.
Being short and everything, I struggle. Anytime I have to put my foot down, it gets technical. It's like I'm just falling over.
Yeah, believe me, I have so experienced that. And that there are times where it doesn't matter. You put your foot down and all it is hanging in the air and you're gonna go over. So, question. Because I just saw somebody say, Allie, you get to witness all the good crashes. Allie, were you wearing a GoPro?
No. What? No, I wasn't. She wore a GoPro the lap before that, and then it died, and she took it off. But it would have been pretty good.
Okay, you're riding with Tayla Jones, and you're not wearing a GoPro.
I know. It was bad. She did get me. It's like when we were on the GoPro, she got me almost crashing twice.
Ooh.
It actually crashed.
Oh,
but she did. Like it was bad. Like flipping is not good. It scared me. It wasn't as bad as what's his name? Dirt Fan.
Oh, Robert.
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah,
it wasn't
when
as
he
bad
clipped
as
the tree.
But it was pretty bad.
So, Rick the scapegoat says carry a side stand with you. No, it doesn't work that way. But anyway,
a side stand?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When we fall over in the rocks.
Right. All right. So next question then, because I don't know if anybody else is thinking about this, but my question, I'm 2-stroke till I die for a lot of reasons. 2-stroke or 4-stroke, likes and dislikes of both. I'm not asking you to pick your fave overall. You can if you want to, but are there times where you prefer a 2-stroke, or do you always want to be 4-stroke?
We've actually been talking about this a bunch, but if I win the next 2 GNCCs, just because, not for any specific reason. I just gave myself that goal, but I'm gonna go buy a 125 and send it.
Yes.
I just want to ride it because I love it and I love riding the 125. I don't think I'd race it. Just like with GNCCs, it's the 4-stroke's definitely better for it. Just like with fuel and that kind of thing, and make
right
at the end. But yeah, I'm super excited that I might get a 2-stroke again.
Well, let's pretend that Husqvarna is not going to see this. You know, Sherco's. You can ride mine. I'll let you ride mine as long as you don't backflip on it or some crazy thing.
I feel like Husky's not gonna be stoked about that, but I'm looking into it, and I'm if I get a 125, I'm gonna be putting out videos every day of the week and me just sending it around.
Nice. There you go. All right. So 2-stroke to play on, 4-stroke to race.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. All right. Next question. GNCC or sprint enduro? Likes and dislikes.
So GNCCs is the bigger of the series. That's where all of our major sponsors come from, and that's what they want to see us winning and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like the sprint enduros better. I grew up racing that kind of style. We do sprints. So we have a 6-weekend series, 12 rounds in Australia, but 8 of those rounds are going to be sprints. So that's what I did, and I love it.
Well, we had several of us in our camp, Dirt Fam included. We had talked about trying some different formats this year, and we wanted to do a sprint enduro. We started the season at Sandwinder, and doing that and get, in addition to riding cross country with Torn and whatnot. And I wanted to give it a shot. I'd ridden one sprint enduro, but it wasn't exactly organized very well, so it didn't run the way they should run.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I definitely want to try. But we're all kind of grounded right now, so hopefully I'll get to do that soon. So let me see. All right. Are there major events that you haven't ridden yet that you'd like to? And not even a question of, is there a class for me or anything like that? Just what events do you want to race?
Honestly, Loretta's is on the list.
Yep.
I would really love to be able to go do that. We've actually looked into it. It's kind of hard to see how this season's going to pan out now with all the races being cancelled and put back on. But I had picked the area in the regional I was going to go do to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Loretta's is number 1 on that list of things I haven't done yet. But other than that, there's not a whole lot. The World Enduro has a 3-day championship for the women's. Mm-hmm. I'd like to do it at some point. I'm not sure about this year. I'm not with everything happening. But one day I'd like to do it just to see how I stack up. Like the 6 days one thing, but the World Enduro Championships, it's different, and I'd like to be able to give that a go. Dakar would be cool. I would only do that though if I had a team support. I would just go up and do it. I don't know. It's the kind of event that you need to train for and be prepared 100%. I don't want to go in half-hearted.
Yeah. I would think that would be at least a year in planning and training for.
For sure, at least.
So, because the bike you got to ride for that, those things weigh 5,000 pounds.
Yeah. If I put in the sand, I don't know, Allie she has to step on my strength program to try and pick that bike up.
Yeah, definitely. So, would you go to Ertsberg? Would you try that once?
Probably not.
Probably not? Well, okay, what about the prologue? Would you at least do the prologue?
I would do the prologue. I'm 100% okay with that. Also, the Sea to Sky, I would go and do that prologue also. I'd be stoked about it. But, the actual event, I don't know. I'd get to the first hill and
I know.
Okay.
Well, there's just to qualify and make the starting grid is one thing. Yeah. And then to make it past, to get off the starting grid and make it up the first hill.
Yeah.
That's the next thing.
And bottlenecks, it's a whole different ball game from there.
Yeah, because the first hill actually is tiered, isn't it? It's like you get up and then you got to go up again. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure, and it's full of boulders and everything. 50 to 100 riders going into it. It's excellent looking. I'd love to go watch it, but yeah, probably not be in the main race.
You know, I can't blame you. Even when I was really young, dumb, and stupid, I don't think I'd have even thought about that. But all right, so have you ever been in a situation, and this one's just popping in my head, so you don't get to prepare for it. Have you ever been in a situation that, like, the track or a part of a track was so freaking gnarly it was verging on scary?
Not really to the point of gnarly. Like, there's been a couple times at the 6 days that it gets technical. They send us down some pretty hairy stuff, but I don't know. If you know someone else has done it before, yeah, I'm all good with it pretty much. But
okay,
yeah.
So talk about breaking your leg and still finishing the race. So
yeah, that was at Penton in 2016. I know I got off to a 6 start at the GNCC. I had the lead on the first lap, and we actually come around to the start on the second lap. And so at the Penton, they cut out the motocross track, so we don't do it on lap 1 just because everyone's bottlenecked and it makes it too hard to go for the finish. So I'd come around, but I'd already, people were still taking off on the start, and I was coming around again. So they cut off the motocross track again for me, which, I don't know, because I was so far in front of the other women, they were, out of it and didn't have any idea who I was or why I was there. So then I come around the third lap, and they actually made me do a pit stop in the motocross track because I missed it the first lap. So they made me do it and then do it again on the same lap. So I don't know. But that same lap, on the second lap, I'd broken my leg just randomly. On a straight, I was just going down, and I got into a deep rut, and it caught my foot peg and caught my leg at the same time and twisted it backwards.
Yeah.
And it just snapped the fib in half. And I was riding around, and then I got to that motocross part, and they told me I had to do it again, and my leg was broken. I was like, this is terrible, hitting these jumps right now. But I ended up finishing. I think I got second, so it wasn't terrible. I was screaming in pain anytime I had to do anything. I rode past this one lapper, and he I screamed. I don't know, I must have caught my leg or something, and he just looked at me and nearly fell off his bike. So I'm just screaming. He's like, wow. Damn. But yeah, I got back, and my pit crew, Mel and Jeff, were there. They were just friends from back at home in Australia. They actually supported me to go over there for those couple of races. And I got back to them, and I was like, I broke my leg. And they're just looking at me like, what do you mean? You just got second. What are you on about? I was like, no, it's broken. I'm sure it is. And we took my boot off, and it was huge.
Oh, no.
It was terrible.
Then, leave the boot on till you get to the hospital.
Yeah, so we actually went to the hospital. They told me it was broken, and then I had to fly back to Australia before I could get anything done to it. So that also sucks. Sitting on a plane for 24 hours is not fun with a broken leg.
No, I can't even imagine. Not cool. Dang. Well, you also had that gnarly crash with your hand. For those of you who like gory, gnarly stuff, just go creeper stalk Tayla's Instagram. You'll see her x-ray, and then you'll see the aftermath of surgery. And exactly how did you break your hand?
That's a good story.
Wait, did you punch Allie?
No.
Oh, I would have.
It was silly on my behalf that I thought I was being a race car driver. I'm not a very good driver apparently, and I ended up rolling a mule, and I put my hand down, and the crossbar landed on top of it.
Oh no! See, I didn't know that part of it. I was, ouch.
Yeah, it was not the greatest. I actually thought I'd like cut my hand off. There was that much blood and it was so much pain all at once. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was gnarly.
How long did it take to recover?
Well, actually, so I had a week because it was all cut and everything. They couldn't do surgery because of infections. I had a week just with them broken, and then I got surgery. I tried to ride a bike about 9 days later. It didn't go great. I actually taped my hand to the handlebar just to see how that went. It actually felt a lot better than everyone told me. I was being a complete idiot to not do that. So
Well, you know what though? All of us have done something similar at some point, so you're not alone.
yeah, so I was trying to get back for the next GNCC. I didn't get back in time, so I ended up missing I think 3 of them. But so my first race was 4 weeks after surgery.
Wow, that's still
Yeah.
pretty quick.
It was fast, but it was feeling okay. I had to use a recluse for another month after that. I couldn't pull any clutch, so I was just holding on and running the recluse. I hit a lot of trees. I really struggled. Not having a clutch is very hard.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So do you run with a recluse now?
I use recluse, but not the automatic one.
Okay.
No, just the like the normal drive. I'm not sure what they're called.
We have lots of discussions about whether to or whether not to. As far as a two-stroke goes, I wouldn't put one on it, but that's just me. But I'm also on a 125, so I can bump start my bike anywhere if I need to. But
yeah,
I would definitely put one on a four-stroke for sure.
it's a 50-50. I do like them for some aspects, but yeah, the way I had it, like I couldn't use my fingers anyway, so I couldn't use it like an auto clutch. For the people that can, like if you can pull it in, like the recluse, it still works like a normal clutch, so you can ride better. But just full automatic, and if you don't want to use the clutch at all, it's tough to do.
Yeah, I broke my hand several years ago in practice, and I was in first place in points. So I went to the medic, and fortunately, my friend Melody had a CR125 with a recluse in it. And I went to the medic, and we took a tongue depressor, and we put that on the top, and then we put something underneath and just wrapped it up in tape, and that's how I raced. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I did not tape my hand to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works, but if you're gonna crash like that, it's probably
not.
Yeah.
I got overconfident at one point, and I did kind of crash hard, but you know,
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody about that till now either. So, all right. So I know that you're doing riding here and there. And do you want to talk a little bit about your training program and what Allie does for you? Because I know, I've worked with Allie too. But I'm sure your program is way different than mine. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So yeah, Ali writes all of my programs. It depends week to week on what's happening. So if I have a race coming up, it's going to be a lot different to the weekends we have off. Off season, it was a lot tougher. I trained pretty much every day, whether it was on like cycling and then going to the gym. We did a lot of like weight work over the off season just to try and get me a little bit stronger. Right now it's kind of like off season again because we're not racing.
Yeah.
So we're doing a bunch again, but we can't go to the gym right now, so that's making it a lot harder for sure. We have some set up at our house, but like every single dumbbell in the world sold out. So
I've heard that. Have you seen a couple of women have been doing some like squat workouts and stuff with their bike?
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, definitely. You can find that on Instagram somewhere. So is she taking you bicycling to her favorite? I don't even know where she goes and rides, but she's crazy.
Yeah, we go mountain bike. We went mountain biking a fair bit. Right now, it's been raining so much around here. Every mountain bike track's been shut for forever. But I go cycling out on the roads a fair bit. So It hasn't been too bad. It's probably the most enjoyment right now instead of sitting in the house.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. All right. Well, I'm sure that there are some people that would maybe want to ask you a couple of questions. We got a few minutes here before we get kicked off at 8:30. I always ask, do you have words of encouragement? And while I'm asking Tayla this, y'all, if you got a question, post a question and we'll try to see if you can stump Tayla. But do you have words of advice, encouragement, stuff like that? Because especially for women riders, no matter how old they are and they're beginning and stuff, and what advice do you have?
Pretty much just stick with it and have fun. Like, I don't know, as a kid, I wasn't the fastest rider, but I showed up every weekend. I still had a great time and I enjoyed it. So I think that's kind of helped me get to where I am now. If I wasn't enjoying it as much, I wouldn't be here. So
Yeah,
have fun with it. Just the more fun you have, the more likely you're gonna keep going back and do more. So yeah.
yeah. T. Jurgen, is that Mad Dog T. Jurgen? This might be a friend of mine, might be not. Because they say I just want to race again. We all just want to race again. We're to the point where we're starting the bikes up and riding them around the neighborhood just to Mad Dog. Good to see you, man. Corbin says, "What is your favorite race?" Yeah, do you have a favorite race or something like that?
Favorite race would actually be back in Australia. It's called the Hattah Desert Race.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of our bigger races back home, but it's a 3-day event. Friday's like a scrutineering bike on the main street. The Sunday it's like 500 riders. Just send it on it's about an 18-mile sand track.
Oh wow!
Do laps of that. So I think the main race is a 4-hour race, and it is probably the most fun ever.
We did the Sandwinder at the beginning of the year. I'm not sure that I have been on my bike for, I guess it ended up being 4 or so hours between getting finished and then the next test and everything.
Yeah.
I was so whipped on Monday from that. I mean, and I've raced back in the day, our races were 2.5 hours long because it was laps and miles. It wasn't time.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd ever been on my bike for 4 or 5 hours straight. So that whooped my butt, literally.
Definitely, it's in the sand also.
Yeah. Next question. This comes from Reagan Potts. What would you say your biggest advice is for working out on and off the bike in the off season? And Tayla's like, Allie, answer this.
Yeah,
Allie.
much.
Well,
biggest advice for working out on and off the bike in the off season? I don't know, a lot of cycling, like endurance work, is really good for off season. That's the time that you should also be doing like all your weights, trying to build up strength. Like during the season, it's kind of like maintaining all of that kind of stuff, but off season, you need to work on getting stronger for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I mean, I'd add like for girls, because I know a lot of girls are on this page. I think with racing, just general like brute strength as a female is a lot harder to come by than it is for males.
I'll agree.
So I think that's one thing I learned early on was like a lot of the guy racers, they can just do strictly endurance stuff, whether it's strictly just body weight stuff or cycling or that kind of thing. And I think for women, it's really helpful to be able to have, whether it's leg strength or back strength or just strength training in general, whether it's, 3 times a week that you're doing that. Yeah. But having a good main focus on, endurance, whether it's cycling, mountain biking, that kind of stuff. I think racing is probably the most diversified. It uses so many different aspects of your body. It uses endurance, it uses strength, it uses everything. So there's not really one thing that you should be doing. It's all of those things: mountain biking, running, cycling, strength training, HIIT training, CrossFit, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, you and I talked about that when you got back into riding here recently, about the difference, because you'd been cycling so much, but it was not the same as being on your bike.
No. Ultimately, like, riding is number one. And she rides
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's like the main part of her program is programming around when she can ride and where she can ride, and doing motos or different sprints or something like that. 4 times a week if possible. And then, what's that say?
Claw is asking, Tayla, have you been to Red River in Munster?
I have been.
What are your thoughts?
It's pretty sick. It can get sketchy with all the side by sides and the quads, but if you ride the back to Bill's Woods, it's really cool. I enjoy it out there, and
I had a head on at Munster.
Yeah, it can be scary for sure. I wouldn't want to be riding the main trails. Definitely not.
Yeah, no, and that, it's unfortunate because there are so many awesome main trails, but you got to be careful with the UTVs and the ATVs because they are crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so guys, let me see. Rick asks, how is the respect level for you as a woman from the men being as fast as you are? And Tayla, before you answer that, guys, Tayla came out to Torn. Was it the end of last year? End of last season?
Yep.
And she rode the Sportsman Expert on Saturday, right? Oh, you froze. And then she also rode.
I'm back.
There you go. Rode the Sportsman Expert on Saturday. And then you raced the pro class on Sunday.
Yeah.
And guys, she whipped they butts. She rode really, really well. And I will tell you just from my experience, then Tayla can answer this because she was parked near us. Several guys stopped by and complimented her. They were awesome. They were cool and said, thank you. You're an awesome racer, all that kind of stuff. But that was just that one instance. What about in general, Tayla, for you?
Mostly, it's pretty cool. Most of the guys are good with it. I know you get a couple here and there that hate being beaten by a girl, but usually the kind of respect that we actually get from the guys it's really cool to see. They appreciate how fast we are because they're in the same industry. They know how hard it is to ride that fast, so they can appreciate what we do on a bike, even though we're girls. But most guys are cool with it. And
It's guys my age and a little bit younger that are still struggling with riding with women. I've had some gnarly experiences with guys freaking out once they saw me on the starting line with them. But the other thing that I think is really cool right now, especially on Instagram, so many women, man, there are pictures of them throwing the sickest whips. And
I did a sick whip yesterday, made Ali film it, so I'll post that later.
There you go. But that's, the thing is was it an on-purpose whip or was it?
No, it was on purpose. She got a few videos of it.
It's just a butt whip. It's not an actual whip.
Wait, Allie, I'm pretty sure I've never seen a picture of any whip from you. So
she hasn't.
You haven't seen him?
It's got 2.
I have a whole album on Facebook. Go check it out.
Okay, well,
the biggest one.
I'll go creeper stalk you. All right. So another question for you: do you have a lot of bikes?
I do have. No, I got 3 of them. I have a GNCC race bike, a Sprint Enduro race bike, and then a practice bike.
And then there's the bike that Allie steals from you when you guys go to ride.
Yeah, she apparently likes my one better, which is understandable.
Well, I told her not to sell her other bike, and she did it anyway. So, she doesn't listen to me. All right. So Corbin asks, what is your best race?
I don't know, to be honest. I've had a few good races. It's hard to say. I don't know. They're all, as long as I go out and have fun, it's a great race.
So I'm going to finish this up with this question.
It's nearly 8:20.
What'd she say?
I'm sorry.
Okay. What are your goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years? Are you going to race as long as you possibly can? That kind of thing.
Pretty much. I still have goals. I want to get better every time I go out and race. I want to win in races. I want to win pretty much every race I go in. But I don't have a limit on my career. I'm just gonna continue doing it as long as I can. As long as I'm having fun, I'm gonna
There
make
you
the
go.
start line. So
Yeah. Let's see. Ash wants to know your worst injury that you've ever had, and was it hard to come back from? And actually, you know, Taylor, I've had that question a couple of times, being able to come back from an injury. Allie and I have talked about it too. So,
worst. I know I had a knee reconstruction, but I was still young. I was only like 13 years old, so it didn't really worry me too much. I actually have a torn ACL right now that I haven't had fixed. It's chilling. It's been like that for a few years. It'll be
it's just
okay
feeling.
now. I don't know. It's the knee reconstruction is tough to come back from just because it takes so much time and it has to be perfect. And then you can rip it again so fast. That one's tough, but probably breaking all of my fingers. That was one of the hardest mentally and physically, just because like it's my clutch hand. I needed it, so that was tough to like wrap my mind around trying to ride without a clutch. But also mentally, like even I still happen now. Like I get scared to hit trees. Like if I hit one of my fingers, it's so much more pain than usual, just because they're fully plated and everything. It scares me a lot. I still run wraparounds on my bikes just because I don't like it.
Right. Guys, these are some good questions, but we're fixing to get cut off at our 1 hour limit. So I would say, Taylor, is there a way that people can contact you or message you or anything like that?
Yeah, you can just shoot me a message on Instagram, and I'll get back and answer any questions you guys have. I'm pretty happy about that.
There you go. All right. So just so everybody knows that I will save this, and Instagram doesn't always work with me. So sometimes I have to fight and figure out a different way to save it, but it does get posted on my YouTube channel. The link to it is in my bio, and then I will also post here on Instagram saying that it's up. But Taylor, thanks for joining us and sharing and just hanging out with us. You know, it's really cool. And I definitely want to go riding with you guys here sometime soon. But in the meantime, you guys stay safe. Everybody give Tayla a bunch of hearts for hanging out with us tonight, man, and putting up with me. So I thank you very much. And guys, remember, we're going to live to ride another day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks. Bye, guys.